let's technically analyze the German index, which we also refer to as DAX 40 as well as German 40. And as you guys can see, we are on the monthly chart. And let's recap. We last spoke about how the market had given us this pattern over here, which is an inverted head and shoulders pattern, as you guys can see. And we had also said that we have this very strong level of support, which is also the neckline of that structure, and that in the future we want to see price ideally coming back to that level to give it a test. And at this point over here is where a lot of bankers, insurers and so forth will be looking to move the market further up. In addition to this, we can also see that at this point in time the market is moving rather sideways at that point over there, and this, in my very humble opinion, indicates that we may be possibly getting ready to see the market actually move further down to around this level. And as I said, at this point is where a lot of organizations will be looking to move the market further up. Anyway, let's have a look at the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we can see that the market has given us this pattern over here, which is an overextended double top, and again it has a neckline more or less there. And remember that on the monthly chart I spoke about how we have price moving sideways, and that it's possibly indicating that we may potentially see the market move further down to around that level, right? And now that we're on the weekly chart, you guys can see that we have this double top which started here, and then we saw a situation where the market moved up, gave us the structure, and possibly we may see it come back to that level to pretty much close in line with where it had started. However, having said that, remember that I spoke about this area over here, which is where we have that very strong level of support, and it's also the neckline of that pattern that I spoke about on the monthly chart, which is an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And we said that at this point a lot of institutions will be looking to move the market further up, right? What I'm saying makes sense. Anyway, for now I'm just gonna add a neckline for that W structure. Just bear with me. We could say that that's our neckline, right? Just bear with me, right? What else do we see in regards to the weekly chart of German 40? Another thing that I see is that we have this candlestick over here. As you can see, it is a liquidity candlestick, right? To add to this, we have another one here, and it too is a liquidity candlestick. We have another one here as well, as you guys can see, right? So as you guys know by now, all of these points are indicating that we have a lot of liquidity down there, and it also ties in with how we actually have the structure, and we may potentially see price come to this level to grab that liquidity, move further down to this level again to grab that liquidity, and then possibly at this point we may see the market actually move further up to at least where we have the neckline, which is over here of this W structure, right? Just remember that this area over here is now also a very strong level, or rather would be a very strong level of resistance should the market actually close below this level over here, right? Anyway, what else do we see, guys, in regards to the weekly chart? At this point I don't see much. I'm just gonna head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. Let's have a look. Let me just add my daily channel. And there goes my channel more or less. There we go. And let's zoom in and see what else is happening here. And remember, guys, just to recap a bit, on the weekly chart we had mentioned that the market had given us this overextended double top, and we said that we may potentially see the market move further down to all of those levels that I spoke about. But just bear in mind that now that we're on the daily chart, we also have this very strong level of support, which is also the neckline of that double top. And as much as I'm saying that we may see the market actually move further down, it is also quite possible that price may only bounce off of this level only to continue to move further up, especially because we have a lot of stop losses here, as you guys know by now. And that is because we have this structure over here where we had a lot of traders and investors selling there, right, and placing their stop losses just above, right? So it is quite possible that price may move to here only to move further up to grab all of those stop losses that I spoke about, right? But here we are on the weekly chart, on the daily chart. What do we see at this point? On the daily chart, we also have, as much as we have this structure, right, we have this overextended double bottom, which similarly has a neckline at that point, right? And remember that this neckline is now also a very strong level of support, and it is quite possible also the price may push this point only to again move further up, right? But let's just zoom in and see what else is happening. But before I do so, I just want to add my neckline for this W structure as well, because it's also very much important. Just bear with me. There we go, there we go, there we go, right? Let's have a look. Let's just zoom in, right? What else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart? So, guys, as much as at this point in time we have this W structure which has a neckline there, I hope you guys also can see that the market had also given us the structure over here, which is a head and shoulders pattern, which had a neckline there, and we saw price at this point break into the bottom side of that neckline, and then hitting back up to the neckline, right? Hitting back up to the neckline, right? So what this means is that we may potentially see the market move further down to at least this level over here. To add to this, as much as the market had given us this pattern over here, just bear in mind also that we have an opposing structure in the form of a W formation here. I hope you guys can see that, right? We have this W formation here, and it too has a neckline, we could say around here somewhere, right? So what does this mean? So what this means is that at this point in time, trading this particular index is a bit tricky and risky. And as I said, guys, we have this structure over here which has a neckline there. To add to that, we also have this W formation which similarly has a neckline there, right? So as you guys can see, buying or selling within this region is going to be tricky. Buying or selling within that region is going to be tricky, as the market may go in either direction depending on where the money is trapped, in my very humble opinion, right? So I'm just going to add a neckline for those two structures. So in other words, I can just do this. I can just add one neckline, more or less like this. And that is because, guys, as I said, we have this pattern over here, which is a head and shoulders pattern, which has a neckline there. To add to that, we also have this W formation, which similarly has a neckline at that point, right? And as I said, guys, buying or selling this particular stock at this point in time, in my very humble opinion, is a bit tricky, and it may be best to actually not trade this particular stock at this point in time, right? Anyway, from here, I'm just going to head down to the H4 chart, and here we are on the H4 chart. And on the H4 chart, we can see, in fact, before we continue, I just want to recap. Remember, guys, that on the daily chart, we said that we have this structure, right, which is a head and shoulders pattern. And we spoke about how the market had given us this W formation. And both structures have a neckline in more or less the same structure. And we said that buying at this point, in fact, buying or selling for that matter, at that level is a bit tricky and risky, right? But here we are on the H4 chart. What else do we see? On the H4 chart, we can see that at this point in time, we are in a downward trajectory. As you guys can see, just bear with me. I'm just going to add my channel. And just based on the H4 chart, the market is saying that for the most part, we should be looking for potential sell opportunities, right? We should be looking for potential sell opportunities. However, due to the reasons that I've given you at this point in time, I would not buy or sell for that matter. But if I were to estimate or guess as to where the market would head to, I would say that chances are we're going to see the market actually move further down. Why do I say so? That is because on the H4 chart we have this channel, as you guys can see, and here we can see that we've had a third rejection of the trend line, and chances are we're going to see the market move further down to that level. As I said, to add to this, if I can just zoom out, remember that on the bigger time frames, we also spoke about how the market had given us this huge structure over here, which is a double top, an overextended double top, by the way. And at the very least, I expect the market to move to around this level, right? Just to zoom in again, and the final reason why I believe that we may potentially see the market move further down is that, remember that we also have, as I said, there's W formation here, right? And remember that whenever we have these W structures, what happens quite often is that traders and investors buy at that point and they place their stop losses just below, right? So we have a lot of money stuck here just below in the form of stop losses, and it is quite possible that we may see the market move further down to at least grab some of those stop losses, right? But in conclusion, as I said, guys, buying or selling this particular stock is very, very risky, and the best thing may be for us to sit it out and see what happens next. As much as I'm saying that there's plenty of scope for the market to move further down, it is quite possible that we may see the market actually move further up to around these areas, because remember that at this point as well we have a lot of stop losses there, because we had if I can just mark it on the bigger time frames, just bear with me. Let's see, on the bigger time frames we had this structure where a lot of people actually sold there and placed their stop losses just above. And as I said, we may see the market actually from where it is move all the way up to grab all of those stop losses.